Manga Monday! And for this video, if you haven't heard, I should currently be in Korea right now and just starting my vacation. So I decided to share with you the digital manga that I'm hoping to read on my trip and have you lovelies help me decide by commenting below which ones you think sound really good, which ones you've read and enjoyed and think that I would also enjoy, so I should read them, or ones that you've been curious about that you would like me to be the guinea pig for and check out for you. So yeah, I will look through the comments and see, tally up which one is being commented the most, or if one comment suggesting a manga has been liked a lot. So I'll keep those in mind, and the 5 that look like, they've got the most people interested in them are the ones I will definitely read and then get to talk about in part 2 of this. I have a lot that I have been looking at on Hoopla. This is where I'm getting all my digital titles from for my trip, and I've kind of put a bunch in my favorites section to hopefully read and enjoy. And while I'm there, I'll be kind of vlogging what I'm doing or what I'm seeing while I read a manga, like whether I, do it at a cafe or just in my hotel room while I eat something yummy, to share with you. And if it's a nice day and I decide to read in a park, to show you the park. So like you'll get like a little vlogish experience along with what I'm reading, and then I will add in either just a voiceover, or when I get back I'll record my thoughts on the volumes, whether I like them or not, whether I want to continue them or not. So yeah, that's the idea for the subsequent video that I will share with you discussing these manga that we pick out. I also have a free trial of 30 days on Manta, which is a webcomics that I also might download because I think my free trial is expiring soon. Or I might have enough to keep me occupied. I haven't decided yet, and maybe I'll do it later. But if you know any good titles on Manta, however you say it, that you've read, I'm looking at like reading complete ones. So these are like it's a long list. I looked at it. Yeah, so it would take me a while, lots of choices, but if there's one that you've read that you highly recommend, also drop that below. So yeah, let's just talk about the manga on Hoopla that hopefully you will help me to decide which ones to read on my trip. I kind of tried to break them up into categories. So the first category is school life, maybe a little romance in them, and some of them have sports in them. So yeah, just kind of an all-around school life atmosphere for these reads. And the first one can be found in print, and I've been interested in reading the series. I've almost bought it a couple times, and that is Again. And this has got a interesting time shenanigans, time travel back aspect to it, which is why I've been really interested in it, because I love my time shenanigans. This boy is at his graduation, and he isn't a bad kid at all, but he has those narrow slanty eyes that make people kind of wary of him and kept their distance because he looks shifty, And so he's pretty bummed looking back on his high school life experience and having no friends and never even joined a club. But then after a bloody collision and an accidental fall, he wakes up back as a high school freshman, and he has the chance to do it all over again. Hence the title. So yeah, I love me some do-overs, some time shenanigans. Yeah, so that one seemed really interesting to me. This one's an older one, and I know there was an anime. It's one of those ones that I don't know if I ever watched. Like, if I did watch it, it was like when I was quite young, and I don't really remember it, but I know I heard about it at least, and it is Suzuka. And this is another school life one, and has an emphasis on track and field because the girl that our main protagonist is interested in, Suzuka, the girl on the cover and title of this series, is a track and field star. And yeah, so Yamato, our main character, is ready for a fresh start, and he ends up moving to Tokyo, staying in a boarding house his aunt owns, and he can stay for free. And it just so happens that his neighbor is Suzuka. It sounds like one of those high school life and pining over, the cool girl next door, and if he can win over the girl. So yeah, I mean, it's tagged as romance and humorous and school life, so it sounds like it could be a fun read if you've watched the anime or read any of the manga. Yeah, I'm curious. Some of these people, if they've read them, you can like rate them too, and it has 5 stars, but only one person's read it, but they liked it, so that's promising. That's just something that I keep in mind. But honestly, sometimes when I see really bad ratings, it also makes me really curious. It's like good ratings and really bad ratings will make me even more curious. But yeah, the last one in this kind of subsection is Fuka. So I think this also was an anime. I remember it like 5 or so years back. But this is like about new meetings in school life, and the protagonist moves to a new town, and he meets a somewhat strange girl who doesn't even have a cell phone, and the girl, Fuka, seems to have a strange allure that draws people to her, very much like a summer breeze. Looks like you has been caught up in one wild love story. So there's definitely romance, it's school life, new school, getting to know people, and that teen vibe energy as well. So yeah, if you have any, experience with Fuka or just think it sounds interesting, you can vote for it below. Next up is kind of the subsection of also slice of life, and but more older demographic. The first one is Complex Age. This one is another one, like, again, where I was tempted to buy this series a lot. Like, I think it's complete at 5 or 6 volumes, so it's a smaller series, and I don't know, but I must admit, not a huge cosplayer. Like, I don't know much of the cosplay world, and it's not something I really do. So so it made it so I'm interested in it, but I'm not sure if I will connect with the subject material. You know what I mean? So yeah, anyway, Complex Ages, obviously based on that, but about cosplaying. It's about a 26-year-old temp worker. She seems very average and ordinary, but she has a secret beneath her business casual exterior. She's a devoted cosplayer. And yeah, so she transforms into her favorite anime and manga characters, and that is her passion in life. And her hard work and creativity has earned her respect amongst her cosplay cohorts. But she keeps it under wraps because a lot of society still sees it as a silly fantasy, silly hobby, So she has these 2 worlds of hers, very separate. And yeah, however, as life does, the demands of both sides of her, dual life are becoming more and more demanding. So she has to decide which is more important to her, cosplaying or being normal. So yeah, I love the concept. It sounds very interesting. I think I could really enjoy it, but since I'm not someone that is very familiar with cosplaying, I might not. So that's why I thought reading it digitally would be a great way to find out whether I think I'll really love this series or not, Moving on, we have, this one has not been published physically, and that is Kaku Shigoto, My Dad's Secret Ambition. And this one also has really good reviews. It's tagged as more of a humorous story, and sometimes, humor is subjective, and the premise is a bit interesting, and I don't know if it can sustain a whole series for me, just to see if there's enough going on to keep me hooked. But Hoopla does have quite a bit of these volumes available digitally, so I would get a good peek into it to see if it's my type of read. But yeah, the summary is that a single father has a secret that he's a top-selling manga artist of raunchy series that perhaps isn't quite suitable for his young daughter. So he does what any doting father would do. He hides it all from her, no matter the hijinks that ensue. So yeah, it sounds very like silly. Like, I don't know if this would be enough of a story to keep me engaged in reading, or if it's just a silly slice of life that I would pass on. But I'm very interested in it. I was immediately intrigued by the cover, but yeah, let me know your thoughts. And then another one that actually just did come out and was released, I believe, in late February is Since I Could Die Tomorrow. I held off on automatically just buying it because I'm like, I could check it out on Hoopla first, so I'm trying to be responsible. Anyway, this is about a 42-year-old single company woman, and one night all of a sudden her heart palpitates and her body goes cold. Could it be she's going through menopause? All about the obstacles you start to face in your 40s, like sudden illness, menopause, fatigue you can't get rid of, changes in working patterns, money worries, life plans for the future, like what will happen to me tomorrow. Like, I think like each kind of era, each decade of our lives, there's kind of new things that pop up and new worries and stuff. So this is kind of about the worries and the life events of your 40s. So I don't know, it sounded really interesting to me. As somebody that is turning 32, this is only 10 years away from me, so I don't know, I thought it could be a really like introspective and interesting read. So yeah, I definitely want to read it, you know, before I commit to buying it, obviously. So let me know if that one piques your interest as well. Then we have two that are kind of about actors slash idols that are also kind of feel like they're work related ish and slice of life ish, but I'm not really sure. And first up we have Double. I've also seen it in the BL, but I'm not sure if it actually is BL, so I don't know, so I'm curious. And it's just about two fellow actors in the same theater troupe who live next door to each other with similar day-to-day lives, but they aren't exactly close friends. So when the one is cast as the other's double in a production and sees the extraordinary acting skills of this actor that he is now playing the double for, he's determined to help him and support him succeed in following his dream and becoming a renowned actor. So yeah, it sounds really interesting. I kind of like thought it was going to be like a psychological thriller of like a double. I don't know, but it's not. It sounds way more like slice of life and stuff. But yeah, I've seen it in print and I've been curious about it, so we shall see. Maybe I'll read it. And the other one that I'm also curious about, but I'm not sure, so I haven't picked up any of the physical volumes. I came close a couple times, but is If My Favorite Pop Idol Made It to the Budokan, I Would Die. And yeah, it just doesn't seem like my type of thing, but I've heard good reviews and positive comments about it, so maybe it would be my type of thing. And it's about this idol group that our main character is really, really obsessed with, and in particular, she supports Maina, sorry if I say it wrong, you know me, Maina, and who is actually the least popular member of the group, but that doesn't deter her love and support of this idol girl, and she spends like all her money on getting fan merch and all that stuff about, like, you know, with idols. Again, this is kind of like complex age where I feel like I'm not a huge idol stan. I don't really, I'm the manga nerd girl, okay? I have my niche and it doesn't really go into cosplay or idols, so these are new worlds to me. But it doesn't mean the story can't be really enjoyable for me. So that's why, yeah, I just, I'm on the fence about this one. So if you've read it, please give me guidance. It just looks really cute too. All right, next up we got kind of a mix of fantasy series, adventure, action adventure with like a little bit of a fantasy aspect to it. So yeah, like pretty much they all have something to do with fantasy. And first up we have Flying Witch. This one is available in print as well. And it's about this novice witch who packs up all her belongings, including her black cat Familiar, which, kitty, and moves in with her distant cousins in a rural prefecture to complete her training to become a full-fledged witch. So it feels very slice of life fantasy, and you know, those are hit or miss for me. It depends on if I fall in love with the characters, I think, because there's not much going on. Usually you have to just really love and want to sit down and enjoy the characters. But yeah, I love witches, I love fantasy, so this one could totally be up my alley. Next up we have another one that feels kind of fantasy slice of life, and that is Alpi the Soul Sender. I've been really intrigued by the cover of this one. Like, I am a cover buyer. I pick manga with my eyes first, I swear. But yeah, this just looks really stunning, and it's apparently a tale of coming of age, and Alpi is a young soul sender who helps to send malignant spirits on their way to the afterlife. So yeah, it just sounds like you know, kind of maybe episodic stories, like each chapter maybe is about a different soul that she sends off, and you know, getting to know more about Alpi as we go. So it could be really nice and atmospheric and enjoyable, or it could be boring. You know, those ones are, I'm always on the fence about, but it looks like it has really gorgeous art based on the cover at least. So I'm definitely willing to give it a try for free, you know. Then we have Elegant Yokai Apartment Life. So again, this is kind of the slice of life of a 16-year-old boy who's trying to find an apartment and finds one for a really, really steal of a deal, only to find out that it is haunted. So he's surrounded by a gaggle of colorful tenants. His like normal high school life begins. It sounds like it's comedic and fantasy, and it could be fun. This one isn't available in physically, to the best of my knowledge, here in the States. So, you know, I'm kind of intrigued because I can only read it online, and of course I love yokai and fantasy stuff. Then we have Airgear. So Airgear was published in English, but it's really old and hard to find. And yeah, so they have a lot of Airgear on here, and I've always kind of been curious about it. And so this is a fantasy action adventure type story where our main character Minami has always looked up at the sky, been a big dreamer, and he catches a glimpse of a mysterious and beautiful air trek rider whose aerial acrobatics ignited his dream into a blazing inferno of ambition. Now he's determined to use air treks to fly, uninhabited by the laws of gravity, and make his dream a reality. But the world of air treks is fraught with danger and deception. Will Minami fly freely, or will his wings get cut before he can take flight? So yeah, it sounds like fun, kind of like a little shonen vibey, and you know, guy pursuing his passion of, you know, flying and using these kind of sci-fi fantasy type element of in the story to try to pursue that dream. So yeah, I don't know, you know, sometimes older titles are fun to check out, and I never managed to buy the series when it was published, so this is my chance to read it. I didn't really know where to put this one because it's not giving me a lot to go on, honestly. The tag on it is action and adventure, so that's why I'm kind of putting it at the end of the fantasy / action adventure category. So yeah, so this title is Are You Lost? And it starts with a plane crash that leaves these young girls to fend for themselves on a desert island, and there's nothing there, so they have to make everything and eat anything like they can find. And it says it's a high school girl survival story of courage and knowledge. So it sounds kind of like it could be slice of life, episodic, of like, oh, this problem arises, let's fix that. I'm interested to check it out. I always really like survival type stories, and that, you know, kind of brings us, I guess, into our next category. So I found some survival stories on here, and you know I love me a good survival story. And these ones are ones I haven't checked out yet. So first up, we have Real Account, and this one I believe is still available physically. If the volumes are easy to find, I'm not sure, but it's a pretty long series, so I'm like hesitant to get into it. And it begins with our main character, who, like many of his peers, is addicted to the newest social networking service, Real Account. But one day, Ataru, our main character, along with 10,000 other people, get sucked into Real Account Zone, where they have become players in a series of deadly games. The basic rules of these games are simple. If you lose all your followers, you die in real life. And if you die, all of your followers die with you. Wow. All right. So yeah, pretty intense stakes. And I guess these games are, you know, kind of, you have to be kind of quick thinking on your feet and stuff. So it gives me vibes of like Alice in Borderland, where you have to like problem solve and stuff. But the cover gives me like less intense vibes than Alice in Borderland. So I don't know. I'm intrigued. And I love me survival games. So yeah, another one that is available in print, at least for the time being, and that is Bloody Monday. I have nearly pulled the trigger on buying this series so many times, but even though I really do love survival games, a lot of the times they just don't quite live up to the initial intrigue for me. Like by the end, I'm kind of let down by them, you know what I mean? So I tend to watch more animes of battle royale survival game type stories than I do buy them, because I love survival games, but like sometimes they're not always well done, well executed, you know? But anyway, Bloody Monday follows our main protagonist, Takagi, who may seem like a regular high school student, but behind his cheery facade lies a genius hacker by the name of Falcon. When his father is framed for murder, Falcon uses his brilliant hacking skills to try and protect his sister and clear his father's name. However, he finds that his father, an agent in an elite government agency, was involved with something far more complex than a simple murder. A terrorist group is plotting against the city of Tokyo, and it's up to Falcon, with the help of his friends, to unravel the twisted plans set in motion to kill millions of people. So yeah, it's not like so much like a survival game as like a survival story of like literal like life and death stakes of, I mean, they're both life and death stakes, but you know, it's less game-like and more just like trying to survive. But I still tossed it in here. They have a similar vibe, I feel.
Speaking of stories that aren't quite survival game-esque, but have, I feel like based on their summaries, perhaps a similar vibe to them, I threw this one in this category as well. and that is
Under Ninja. And someone actually recommended that I check this one out, and so when I saw it on Hoopla, I was just very, very excited. So I would really like to, you know, at least read this first volume and see what I think before committing to buying the series. But yeah, it seems like it has to do with actually ninjas and war and different things. After World War II, Japan developed a new agency to help manage terrorism and violence within the Pacific region. The agency was staffed with ninja, and they were initially tasked to handle domestic affairs. Eventually, that program grew to its current form, managing 20,000 ninja across a range of domestic and international affairs. One of those ninja happens to be Kuro. The 17-year-old high school loser is now poised to be the next line in defense against a potential surge in foreign assassins invading Tokyo. So like, it's kind of got a little survival energy, like, but it, you know, is tagged as action adventure. So yeah, it just seems like it could be a interesting read, and like I said, it was recommended by a lovely commenter, so thank you very much. And if you still want me to read this, do comment below. Next up is a more recent title. The first volume, I believe, came out already, or is coming out relatively soon, but I think it already came out, and that is Dead Company. So I didn't want to pick it up because I read another one of these by this mangaka. I can't remember which one, but you know, they always have the mascot heads on and stuff in their covers, and I didn't like it. It was one of those ones that I was kind of alluding to, that like, you read it, it's intriguing, and then the payout just isn't there for me, and I unhauled it. I think it was Doubt, but I can't remember it. Anyway, so I'm hesitant to actually buy Dead Company, but yeah, it's another one of those classic death games where players are forced to kill each other until there's only one person left standing. It's very cut and dry. It very much feels like a tried and true survival game story. I'm sure there's some more elements to it, but you know what I mean. Should I give it a go? At least it's free checking it out on here, you know, so I'm very tempted, but I also just feel like I'm gonna hate it in the end, you know. It's like, why bother? But if you want me to kind of like hate read this one, because I'm sure I'll get 2 and 3, because I think it has 1 to 3 and it says the third one's the final one, so I'm thinking it's a short complete series that I could read on here. So, you know, I'll get hooked into it, which always happens with these survival stories, but if I'll actually enjoy the ending, that's the rub. So if you want me to possibly hate read this one, let me know. Then we have one that I don't think, I've never heard of it anyway, and it's called Deathtopia. And it looks like it's gonna be a little fan servicey, you know, something like Batum or High School of the Dead, maybe. I don't know, but that cover, come on, I'm not wrong about that. Anyway, our main character's world is turned upside down when he's involved in a car accident that leaves his eyes seriously injured. He regains his eyesight after surgery, but he also seems to have gained an ability to sense strange apparitions around him. Meanwhile, a serial killer with a disturbing fondness for eyeballs, wow, all right, is on the loose in Tokyo with a band of intriguing beauties in hot pursuit. So, oh, I didn't read this before, but it's from the author of Cage of Eden, which A, makes so much sense about the cover, and B, I did not like Cage of Eden, so this could be another possible hate read of mine. Anyway, comes a new story of danger, suspense, and superhuman powers. It sounds good. It sounds, you know, high stakes death, you know, defying, dystopian is a tag here. You know, life or death scenarios, but ooh, reading that it's from the author of Cage of Eden just made me cringe inside. Oh, Cage of Eden sounded like something I would totally love, and I bought the first 2 volumes and immediately hated it. So, you know, it depends on what you want to see on this channel. Do you want me to enjoy my reads, or do you maybe not want me to enjoy my reads? Do you like me or do you not like me? No, but sometimes it's fun to like, you know, vicariously experience a possibly crap manga as well. So that's always a fun time. And moving away from that and more into kind of sci-fi genre, we have Cellion. This just compelled me. Sorry, I don't know. Comparison was there. It has this like sci-fi dystopian kind of vibe of a future Tokyo that has been ravished with radioactive contamination and is now in lockdown. Cellion is a special unit that is made up of 3 high school girls genetically engineered to be impervious to radioactivity, and they are sent back out into Tokyo, the city of death, for missions presumably. And yeah, so I don't know, it could be a little bit of a survival energy action adventure, or it could just be pretty like slice of life with this sci-fi edge to it. I'm not really sure what to expect. I think it's only available digitally here. This is the first time I'm ever seeing it. I was immediately kind of intrigued by the cover with the empty cityscape and the one girl just standing there. I don't know, you know, it intrigued me. And another one that sounded interesting to me, but I haven't picked up yet, but is available physically, is Inu Yashiki. And this is about an older man in his late 50s who looks way older than his age. So he's basically written off by the world as this pathetic old man, and he's constantly ignored and disrespected by his family despite all that he's done to support them. And on top of this, his doctor has just revealed that he has cancer and appears to have little time left. So just when things seem like they can't get any worse, a blinding light in the night sky strikes the earth where Ichiro stands, and he later wakes up to find himself unscathed. But he soon starts to notice there's something different about him. However, it turns out these new strange changes are just what Ichiro needs to take a new lease on life. So yeah, I know there's some kind of like robotic alien type energy to this series based off just like covers I've seen and art I've seen. So yeah, I'm mixed because I'm not sure if I'd enjoy this. It's an interesting premise though. And now we're moving into the more mature content, the more graphic content perhaps, and some that are more like psychological thrillers or just straight out horrors that are tagged with. But we'll start out on a bit of the lighter side of the is there a lighter side? But anyway, first up we have one that I've never heard of before and that I think is only available here anyway digitally, and that is Koku, Moment by Moment. And this also has a horror tag, but it also is rated teen, so I'm guessing it's like a little bit less intense horror. In order to save her brother and nephew who have been kidnapped by a mysterious religious group known as the Genuine Love Society. What a name. Yuri and her family cast a spell using a stone hidden by her grandfather to enter a world of stopped time known as stasis. However, when they infiltrate the kidnappers' base, they're met by other people who can also move about freely. With grotesque creatures lurking about, will they be able to escape the parallel world and return to their normal lives? Again, a fascinating summary. I am color me intrigued with that one. And yeah, I don't know, the cover with the colors, the pastel purple and the like weird undefinable, I don't know, what is it? I don't know. And yeah, a little lighter horror, I guess. Could be fun. We have Yagyu Ninja Scrolls. So this is by the same mangaka as Basilisk, which I did pick up this late last year, and I've really been meaning to read, but I haven't gotten to yet. It's not rated the highest on here, which is interesting. So I don't know, but it's hard to find these volumes as well. So I figured since it's on here, I would just read it on here. This story takes place in 17th century Japan, where a rebellion in the territory has been brutally crushed, leaving 21 brave warriors dead and most of the nuns of the local convent slaughtered. It's a cheery beginning. Now the surviving nuns have sworn to seek revenge. I don't know, that's a weird ass summary to me, but color me intrigued. It is tagged as horror. So I was thinking it was more of an action adventure, but seeing the horror tag, like, it could just mean bodily horror, could have scary elements. I don't know what to expect from this one. Nuns seeking revenge. I mean, yeah. And next up, I know was published by Dark Horse, but I don't think you can find the volumes very easily anymore, is Old Boy. So I've heard things, and sounds weird. It is tagged as action adventure, but it's rated mature, so it still is in this list. I'm thinking it's more of going to be a psychological thriller kind of horror in my mind, but it's definitely mature, has a lot of grotesque bloody action, I've heard. So the summary is that 10 years ago, they took him. He doesn't know who, and for 10 years, he's been confined in a private prison. He doesn't know why. For 10 years, his only contact with the outside world has been a television set and the voices of his jailers. In time, he lost himself. He changed, transformed into something else, something hard, something lethal. Suddenly, one day, his incarceration ends. Again, without explanation. He is sedated, stuffed inside a trunk, and dumped in a park. When he awakes, he is free to reclaim what's left of his life. And what's left is revenge. So, a tale of oldest time, revenge. Like I said, I know it's bloody, I know it's twisted. I don't know if I'm ready for it, but I am, interested to read it because I like twisted things. I love psychological type thriller type premises. So yeah. And another one that is tagged as horror, and I don't think either of these last two actually are or have been printed in English. And first up we have Kasan. So the premise of this one kind of reminds me of a horror take on True Beauty. But anyway, Kasane's face is so hideous you couldn't bear to look twice at her. So extreme. And her ugliness has forced her to walk a harsh path in life. But her mother left her something, a tube of lipstick. See where I'm going with the True Beauty? The power of this lipstick will change everything about her downtrodden life. I don't know how a tube of lipstick will transform her. Is this lipstick magical? Like, I don't know. It's so weird. It sounds like a horrific True Beauty or something. So I'm interested to find out more because the summary is so vague and just like nothing, bare bones. But the horror tag, has me again intrigued. I mean, it could be psychological horror, She could be kind of a yandere character. I don't know where the horror comes in, but this, could be a interesting read. And lastly, on the horror, it's tagged as horror and crime and mystery, we have Until Your Bones Rot. So I was immediately intrigued by this cover. Like, look at this, her cradling the skull, like, hello, what is happening here? However, what is also quite intriguing is it has only been given 1 star. It's been rated a 1 star out of 5 with 3 votes. I'm also really curious, like, how can it be that bad? Like, what about it is bad, Like, you just want to know. And so you got to read it yourself to find out, why is it so bad? So yeah, the premise is the summer they were 11, they killed a man and buried his body in a cave. Since then, every year, one summer night has marked a ritual never to forget and never to betray. 5 years have passed, their 16th summer. The body, now a skeleton, unraveled lies, a faceless blackmailer, the phone rings, and a life is torn apart. The bones, like their crime, never rotting, never fading away. Now a living hell begins. I don't know, it sounds fascinating to me. Like, why did they kill him? What is happening? Who's blackmailing them? What's going on? Yeah, mysteries. I love it. I love me some mysteries. So yeah, let's take a sharp 180-degree turn away from death and horror and mysteries and survival games and all that jazz to the sweet fluff of romance. So yeah, the last titles I'm going to run through really quick because there's a whole bunch of romance titles on here that I'm intrigued about, but this video is already getting extremely long, so I'm sorry about that. So first up we have The Walls Between Us. This one is about next door neighbors who have been, friends forever, close forever. But then one day they are suddenly thrown into a relationship. Her childhood friend, who is apparently also narcissistic and a self-absorbed playboy. So why did they enter a relationship? I don't know. And it also says it's a romantic comedy. So I love childhood friends to lovers. I love an asshole male protagonist if he's done well, that is. And I love romantic comedies because they give a funner edge to it, not so drama heavy and crap. Though sometimes I do like a drama heavy, series of romance. But anyway, it's just, yeah, like everything about this one makes me want to read it. Next up, we have Beware the Kamiki Brothers. So this is one that's like mint chocolate, where a girl's mother has just gotten remarried and they move into their new house with her new partner and his sons. So plural. So we got options here. The elder son is really hot but far from normal, and with his cute younger brother, she's now stuck with them both morning, noon, and night. Yeah, so this cohabitation, which I love me some forced proximity cohabitation tropes, leads to some heart-pounding excitement. So I'm all here for it. I'm excited. I don't know. I would like to check it out, and the art looks really, really cute. So next up is one I've never heard of. Well, I kind of saw the other two, like maybe on Amazon digitally. I don't think any of these so far are published yet, but this one was surprised when I came across it on Hoopla, and it's called Drowning Love. So this seems like about young love discovering, feelings of love for the first time, and it seems like it's going to be about multiple preteens, like following the lives of a group of kids as they navigate young love and stuff. So I don't know. Summary says they fight one another, they chase after one another, they capture one another, a turbulent tale of preteens on the brink of self-destruction. I don't know. Sometimes love and hate, two sides of a coin. Jealousies, all that stuff. Like, it sounds like a more dramatic romance, I'll say. So yeah, but I do sometimes like that. I'm not writing it off. Next up is one I also just have seen for the first time on Hoopla, Our Precious Conversations. And this one also sounds a bit interesting, but is more romantic comedy again, with a girl who finally confesses her love, and the guy that she has feelings for is far from ordinary, and he leads her in circles and confusing her with strange tangents. And yeah, so two awkward teenagers find themselves growing closer through misunderstandings and off-topic rants. I love awkward couples, so that's why this one intrigued me. I just love two bumbling kind of weirdos that find each other. And next we have Our Fake Marriage. So I've said it before, if you watch my romance awards and different things, I love a fake dating, fake romance, fake marriage, we're just doing this because of ABC, and then we develop feelings, of course, because it's a romance. So I don't know why I love it, but I love it. And this one follows some older protagonists, which I also enjoy. This 29-year-old girl loses her home and her job in one stroke, and then suddenly her childhood friend, so we also have childhood friends, childhood friend Takumi appears before her, a good-looking, successful architect. He lives a glamorous life, and in exchange for free accommodation in his skyscraper condo in the heart of Tokyo, she is informed she'll have to fake being his wife. Like, I love a fake dating, fake marriage trope, and so yeah. It sounds good. It's not rated that highly, I will say. It's just a 3 out of 5 stars, so it could be a little too cliche, but I'm willing to check it out. The cover looks so sweet, and yeah. And another one that follows some older protagonists, which I enjoy, and why I kind of mix them in with the more shoujo vibes of young love vibes ones, and it is Fuka, which is a funny title to me. I'm sorry, I am an immature. And this is also about a girl reuniting with her first love, which is also a trope I like. So like childhood friends to lovers and reuniting with like a first love or a crush, like Perfect World does. It's just good. So yeah, this girl catches her boyfriend cheating on her and decides to move out of her apartment into a shared house where she reunites with her first love again. That's when things get heated between them, and he drops a major bomb. Heart and body and everything in between intersect in this fresh new adult love story. So like I said, I like that they're older protagonists, shared house, close proximity. What's the secret? I don't know, but again, not rated too highly, 3 out of 5 stars. So it could just be a taste thing that some people didn't like it and some people liked it, and it kind of meets in the middle at 3 with both of these. Or they could just be not great romances, but I want to check them out. We're going to continue that with another adult romance, and this one seems like it's gonna be maybe some spice because it's rated M for mature, and that is My Boss's Kitten. So this girl was deserted right before her marriage and left without a place to live. One day she finds herself wandering back into the house as she was supposed to own after her wedding, but to her surprise, the cold-blooded boss she hates from work has moved in as the new owner. A dangerous love ignites under one roof between the girl who lost love and her sadistic boss. Like, oh my god, a boss she can't stand, but living together, I like it. I like it. I like the idea of it anyway, let's say. So then we have Love Massage, Melting Beauty Treatment. And this is just about a lonely girl that works all day, has no lover or friends, and she decides to call for an in-home massage to fill kind of a void. And she meets one day a handsome masseur. This delicate touch, he makes her body and mind melt. However, the next day he shows up at her company. Oop. So yeah, I don't know. Sexy story of a single office worker and a handsome masseur? Maybe. Are we interested? So this one, I'm not sure what the ages are, but it is rated M for mature. So it's also spicy, and one that I've been intrigued by, but because it was published in these omnibus books and you know, so it's more expensive, I haven't bought it, but it's Nana and Koru. So this is about a childhood friend who became an idol. Over the years, these childhood friends' relationship has become strained with the differences in their lives, obviously. But Koru, he still fantasizes about Nana helping him realize his ultimate fantasy, a BDSM relationship with her. So I don't know. Again, I think someone recommended me to check this out maybe on my Instagram when I posted about Pleasure and Corruption, I think. But while I love Pleasure and Corruption, I like that the girl is the one tying them up. I'm not sure how this one's going to play out. I don't like that it just feels like it's a male fantasy type thing, but you know, it sounds like the girl might be intrigued by it, and she has a very stressful life as an idol and could use some fun, and might enjoy this. So it sounds like she's bored with the whole idea, maybe, but I don't know. It would depend on how it pans out, and that's why I would like to read it on here for sure before committing to buying it. And it's a really long one at 610 pages, so it'll take me some time on my trip, but that's nice. Like, I don't know if I should read it in public, but I'll switch back to some more innocent romances. We have My Sweet Girl, and this is about a girl who feels like she's pretty unattractive. She has a very flat body, and it's given her a complex that she'll never find love and fall in love. And then a boy in her class sees her thin boy-like body by accident. Frank Masamune makes her realize that she maybe wants to try to be just a girl like everybody else and fall in love. It's a pure and slow step love story, it says, dedicated to all the girls who become awkward when it comes to love. I mean, I can't deny that I would be one of those girls, probably. I am quite awkward when it comes to love. But yeah, this one just seems pure and adorable. Then we have one I'm not sure about, My Boyfriend in Orange. This one sounds like an age gap between a high school student who ends up being rescued by a local firefighter, Kyosuke, during a fire drill in front of all the kids at school. But the embarrassing incident might be a blessing in disguise for our young high schooler to leap out of her comfort zone as she aims to leave her loner days behind and ends up falling head over heels for her rescuer. So yeah, I don't know. It could be cute, but again, it's age gap, so tricky. And then one that just looks really stinking fluffy, like the art, this cover immediately drew me to it, is Can I Kiss You Every Day? It sounds a bit strange from the premise though, like it could be a little off-putting, non-consensual, because it sounds like she's reunited with her childhood friend, which again, love me a childhood friend to lover story, but that he immediately starts making advances on her and wants to kiss her every day. So yeah, I don't know if this is gonna be wholesome and sweet or going to be not exactly what I want. But this childhood friend romance starring a black-hearted yet loving boy is filled with sweet and passionate kisses. The cover is what drew me to it, to be honest with you. It's the last wave, I swear. Then we have Defying Kurosaki-kun, and this one sounds like my cup of twisted shoujo romance tea, where this girl is trying to step out of her past in her plain Jane type of being and reinvent herself, and her final mission is to ask out the idol of her school, the White Prince. So circumstances lead to her moving into the dorm of this guy that she's interested in. However, unluckily for her, Black Devil Kurosaki-kun, the boy everyone at school is afraid of, lives there too, and when Yu defies him, he's all too eager to punish her. Why am I like this? Why does that sound good? It just does though. I'm not the only one, right? I don't know. But yeah, I'm very much intrigued by that. Then we have this one, which actually is rated pretty poorly. So again, I'm intrigued. Why is it? Is it really a bad romance, or did people just wasn't for them, And it also has a really cute, fluffy looking cover, which is why I was intrigued to begin with. And the title is I'm in Love and It's the End of the World. The title also intrigued me. But yeah, so this is about twin sisters who feel like one has the sweet and cute girl that everything good happens to, and the other one feels like she is like the sister that has to balance the goodness of her other sister and everything bad happens to her. So she's always been considered like the other twin, you know. And she never gets her hopes up, except for the first day of high school. She meets a handsome and mysterious classmate who takes an interest in her as well. And by the end of the day has already asked her out. And then the end says, if things don't balance out soon, the world's going to come to an end. Like, I don't know if this is for real or just exaggeration, but I mean, yeah. And before the last two that are like pre-release digital ones, we have a kind of what seems like it's going to be like a sad romance. So I'm not sure about this one, but it's called I Want to Hold Aona-kun So Badly I Could Die. So this is a love story about the airheaded girl Yuri-chan and her boyfriend Aona-kun. They had a perfectly normal relationship until one day Aona-kun suddenly passed away. It is in quotation, so I don't know why, but that's why I put the air quotes. They will never be bound together and they cannot even touch. Check out their haphazard and almost too sincere love story. It's tagged as romance and supernatural. So is there a Aona-kun ghost? Like, what is this? Like, I don't know if it's going to be like a sad love story or just like a supernatural love story, but yeah, it's interesting and it's different than a lot of the other romances, so that's why I kind of left it more towards the end before the final two volumes, which are digital pre-releases of volumes that I think will be published in the upcoming year, I believe. I want to check them out. If they are in fact going to be published, do I want to own them? First up is Sweet for Sweets and Foreigners. And this is a romance series about a company woman who specializes in sweets. While she might be good at sales, her confidence in pretty much everything else is low, which is why she hasn't even thought about dating since college. Instead, she fills up her imagination with romantic scenes from shoujo manga, and she meets this handsome older Frenchman who is in charge of a new project she was assigned to work on, and begins to struggle to keep her romantic imagination in check. It just sounds really cute. I feel like I can relate. I pretty much just get my romance from shoujo and BL, so I feel like I can get her. Like, I feel like it could be relatable, sadly. I shouldn't admit these things, but yeah, it sounds cute. I love the workplace romance. It's always a fun time as well. It's a trope I enjoy. And then lastly, we have a one-shot, and that is this reincarnated cross-dressing princess won't be looking for a fiance. So I don't know, this just sounds cute. It's got romance and fantasy as a tag, and it is about Princess Alicia, who cross-dresses to attend the male-only magic academy and realizes she is currently in the setting of a BL novel she was reading in her previous life. So it kind of gives me the Princess of Convenient Plot Devices premise. But, you know, I love me Reincarnated story. I'm intrigued by the cross-dressing premise. And it has the Magic Academy, so there's got to be a fantasy element to it. So I am very intrigued, but it is a one-shot, so it could feel rushed and not, you know, the best. So that's why I definitely want to check it out on Hoopla here first. So yeah, those were all the reads that I'm very, very interested in checking out. If you couldn't tell, like, all of them just sound interesting or look like the cover looks appealing, or there's, you know, multiple reasons I would be interested in checking these out. So I really do need your help on deciding which one of these that I should definitely make a priority in reading. Please, thank you. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and will look forward to part 2, where I review some of these reads that I have shared with you today. Yeah, this was really long, so thank you very much for watching, and especially if you commented below any title that you would be interested for me to read. I really, really do appreciate it. And if you could just hit that thumbs up as well, you're the best. All right, until next time, bye.